What is the news? Tell me it's good news.
It is, Sir Arrington. We have the last piece of the puzzle.
This is indeed wonderful news. Good work, Dr. Brunson. I knew I could count on you, and I knew that tape still existed somewhere. Who would have guessed it would be hiding in the garage of that failure of a middle child of mine? Dead 20 years, and he's still a nuisance. Never mind about him. Will it work?
We're watching it now, sir. All we need is for the tape to have a timestamp, and the time sphere can lock onto the specific astral coordinates the Earth stood in at the moment you wish to return to. Fortunately, this was a common thing in the late 1900s. The primitive recorders of the era defaulted to automatically stamping the date and time right onto the VHS recording, and presuming it was calibrated upon setup, it will be as the manufacturer intended.
As God intended, as I intended. I've sunk my entire fortune into this moment, watching for decades as this vehicle inched closer to its final design. We overcame the bending of space, we solved the problem of time, we found the source to provide the power it required, and this, the ability to pinpoint the correct moment, will allow me to finally travel back to my past and...
Yes, hello. Yes. Sir, it's your daughter on line 1.
She can wait. This is too important for me to be disturbed.
Ah, here comes my colleague with the findings.
Sir, tremendous news. The tape is as Sir Arrington recalled, and we have the timestamp.
Of course it is, you dunderhead. What does it say?
November 28th, 1985, 9:34 p.m.
Ah, yes, the very moment I aim to travel to. The dimming hours of Thanksgiving evening, 1985. Watching TV on the couch. Mother wrapping up the leftovers of her rhubarb pie, and the music of Antonio Salieri playing through the hi-fi. I can smell that pie. It was tart and sweet, but not as sweet as a cherry is, just sweet enough to remind you were having dessert. Yes, and the music, the old man was obsessed with his Salieri. One viewing of that Mozart picture and that was it. Of course, he was hard of hearing, so it was more of an ambience thing, I suppose. The film wasn't accurate, but it was amusing. And of course the old man was playing with his new toy. No, he couldn't wait to buy it for himself at Christmas. He wanted the camcorder for Christmas. And the scene unfolds. My father carries this camera over to my mother to capture the final moments of her cleaning ritual, and he just zooms into the leftover pie, ever closer. Fathers, no filmmakers were they. That zoom button was the bane of them all. They were unable to restrain themselves at the helm of this newfound toy. They all believed if they weren't zooming in and out of the frame they were not being productive, and so you have it. Close-ups, gratuitous, unnecessary, undisciplined close-ups of the most insignificant subjects. He zooms out from the pie as mother slips into the refrigerator and says it's time for bed. She calls me from the television, and the old man, for reasons unknown to me, puts the camera down, forgetting to stop the recording, and follows her. You can hear him walk through the door, and with it goes the last moments of my parents on this earth. It was the last Thanksgiving they were alive. They would both perish in the plane crash a month after New Year's Day.
Sir, that's a beautiful thing that you want to see them again.
Nonsense, dunderhead. You weren't there for the bad times, and the times were all bad. Neglect is my true surname. I could care less of those simple folk. My interest lies in the wall safe my old man installed in the dining room. He must have thought himself the center of Empedocles' circle. Thieves would check the bedroom, but never the dining room.
Sir, we all know where you lived. Couldn't we go to the safe right now?
A genius idea. Truly remarkable. No, we can't go get it. Dunderhead. Whatever was in that safe is long gone now. Don't you think that was the first place I checked after they perished? My good-for-nothing uncle came and retrieved what was in there. I remember him leaving from the funeral and I overheard it. And wouldn't you know it, he dies 3 years later of prostate cancer. And now the cancer is taking me. But it's too late. I may be wheelchair bound, but I'm the first one in the family to make it to my 140s. And I'll die solving this riddle once and for all.
Sir Arrington, if you don't mind, if you don't know what it is, why would you spend your life trying to retrieve it?
If you must know, it's the only thing I don't own on this godforsaken planet, and I want it. My father had it and he obsessed over it. He would sneak downstairs in the middle of the night to go look at it. I could hear him. I tried to, accidentally, catch him a few times, but he was too quick to lock it up. I never understood how he could do it so briskly and quietly, but he did it. It can't be his will or some golden crucifix. The man wasn't religious enough, nor did he ever talk about death. It eats away at me that he would keep secrets from his only son, but no longer. Not even secrets are outside my grasp.
What will you do when you arrive?
Now that I have the coordinates, I will aim the machine exactly 3 seconds after the time in the video. That will still leave me in the house with myself and my parents both in bed, and finally, with the tools I bring, I'll be able to open that goddamn precious safe of his. I'll wheel myself in, retrieve my answer and wheel myself out the front door. There's a bus stop just around the corner, and I'll take it to the dock where I'll die admiring the sunset on the lake, knowing I have accrued every answer I desired.
Sir Arrington, it's your daughter again.
Hang up.
Sir, I have to remind you, this is a one-way trip. Once you leave, we can't bring you back. Are you absolutely sure this is the way you'd like to spend your final moments? Would you not rather speak with your only living relative?
No, she reminds me too much of my ex-wife.
I've just received a text message from the lab. We're ready to go. Everything checks out.
Excellent. Take me downstairs.
This way, sir.
Dr. Brunson, I can't tell you how delighted I am. Can you imagine for a second the tranquil bliss of having all that you set out for?
Sir, I think I can.
Nonsense. What would you know of it? You never strove this hard for something people said was impossible.
Here we are, sir. We just have some formalities. We need you to sign this waiver absolving us of any wrongdoing in your disappearance, as we've officially classified it.
Yes, whatever.
We are going to record the process for posterity and science. Can you look into this camera and say this was of your own choosing and volition?
Yes, I absolve Dr. Brunson and his staff of anything. This is my choice. Okay, let's go.
Thank you, sir. We are ready. Jameson, wheel him into the chamber.
About time.
Here are your tools, sir. This is a professional-grade torch. It is compact due to its low capacity and will burn for 8 seconds. It should open your father's safe with relative and quiet ease.
Once again, I chance to prove the past will never be a match for the future.
It's your daughter again, Sir Arrington. I implore you as a father, if you must go, at least give her this one final gesture of goodwill, and tell her about your choice.
Very well, give me the phone. Hello? Listen, Isabella, your father has made his decision. This is goodbye. I'm leaving you with what remains of the estate. You'll be fine, you don't need me. Yeah, you won't understand. Love you, goodbye. Here.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, are we ready?
Yes, Sir Arrington. The only thing that remains is for you to lock the door after we shut it. It can only be locked and unlocked from the inside, as the sphere must be as completely smooth as possible for time travel. This journey will be instantaneous, so you won't run out of air. The light inside will be red. After we hit the activation switch, you'll hear a warm-up sound like a winding motor for 2 seconds, and a hard clunk afterward. That means the sphere has landed. The light should immediately turn green, meaning it's safe to open the door, and when you do, it will be 1985 again.
Marvelous.
Give us 2 knocks once you've locked the door.
Shut the door, dunderhead.
Door shutting. All systems clear.
Hit it.
Oh, the smoke.
Check the instruments.
Doctor, it worked.
Okay, we're done here, and you don't have to call me doctor anymore, Luke. Open the hatch and get that old man's body out of there.
Sorry. Force of habit, Frank. I can't believe that old coot really thought we had a working time machine.
Impatience in bed with desperation breeds gullibility, my dear Jameson. Sir Arrington, being a recluse, along with our ability to convince him a working time machine would be confiscated by the government, was the perfect cover, and tricking him into signing this waiver agreeing to an assisted suicide alongside a final payment of $26 million doesn't hurt either. Our video recording will absolve us of any wrongdoing, and the phone call with his daughter was a fortuitous icing on the cake.
Couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Which is why I felt no guilt in leading him on. All this time that damn tape was with his daughter. Fortunately, I knew he was too stubborn to let her talk. She would never have had a chance to tell him the tape was stolen from her house last night. She must have known that the hope of finding the tape was the only thing keeping him alive. Regardless, the time we needed to track it down fell perfectly in line with the cancer. Our stalling let it get bad enough that he'd have to accept the one-way trip clause. Well, let's clean up and get out of here. I've got old money to spend. Haha. I do wonder what was in that safe though. I guess neither him nor us will ever know.
Hey Frank, I think we left that tape running.
So what? I could care less about that turkey's Thanksgiving.
Hey Frank, isn't that Arrington's dad?
Yes it is. He's coming back just like Arrington said.
He's not going toward the safe though.
You're right, Luke. He's coming back to the kitchen. What is he doing?
He's heading for that picture frame on the bar.
It's a picture of his family. He's just holding and looking at a photo of Mr. Arrington with the rest of the family. I guess he was wrong. We were all wrong.
Goodbye, Mr. Arrington.